Hey guys, so we recently got back from a trip to Disneyland. It was my first time there.
And my first time in probably 10 years.
We both loved it. The original Disney park. Disneyland is great. First Disney park either of us ever went to was Disney World in Orlando, and that one really set the bar high.
So after experiencing both parks, we wanted to make a video just talking about what we liked from each park more, and it's kind of been a debate in our friend group of which is better, Disneyland or Disney World. So we wanted to make a video.
This video is called Disneyland versus Disney World. One of the biggest differences that I thought was actually the size of each park. Disneyland has two main parks, Disneyland, and the other one is California Adventure. Both awesome, but there's only two parks in Disneyland. Disney World has four parks, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios.
So I think there are both pros and cons for those size differences, and it kind of depends on how long you're going to be there and who's all going with you. When we go to Disney World or Land, we want it to be for as long as possible, and we want to do as much as possible.
Right.
So the size of Disney World is kind of more appealing to us.
Totally. That's one nice thing about the size of Disneyland is that it's all in one specific area. So Disneyland Park and California Adventure are right next to each other, and you can do the whole Disneyland in one day pretty much.
When we went back and forth from California Adventure to Disneyland probably like 5 times, and so it's so easy to do that. So if you're with like your grandparents or your full family,
or you're just there for a weekend or a day, you have one day while you're in California, definitely go to Disneyland, get the whole thing done. It's awesome. But I would say size goes to Disney World, right?
I would too. For us.
Yeah.
When we go, we want to go for a week minimum. We want to go to all the parks.
Yep, get all the magic.
All the magic.
So that would lead to our second category, which would be transportation. So transportation in Disney World.
It's a little hard.
I mean, not for us, and probably not for kids and stuff, but I would imagine if you're a parent, or you have kids, or you have a family with you that you're trying to corral, it's tough to get everybody from either a resort to a park on a bus, or get everybody on a monorail to go to the next park, you know?
We have stayed at the Beach Club, which is awesome. And when you're staying on the property of Disney World, it's like, oh my gosh, we can walk to Epcot, but you can't walk to Magic Kingdom, you can't walk to Animal Kingdom. So it's like if you're staying on property, it really only gets you to walk to one of the parks, which is a fourth of the attractions. So as awesome as it is, we literally love staying on property there. It is hard to have to take the buses, but Disney World is stepping it up because they have the minivans, they have brand new buses with chargers and all that stuff.
And they just had the
Skyliner.
Yeah, the Skyliners come out. So they're,
Which Matt won't go on.
Yeah, I don't really love heights. Love Disney parks, but I don't love heights. I know. But they are stepping it up, and I honestly don't mind the transportation. I kind of like, after a long day at the parks, you're there from morning till nighttime fireworks, and then you get on a bus and you're driving back to your hotel or your Airbnb or whatever. You think about the day you just had. I like that moment. I could see how some people would be like, oh, bus, I just want to be in bed.
Disneyland, there's 3 hotels on property, and I did stay at a Disneyland hotel when I was little, and that is pretty cool because you can go back to your hotel midday, take a break, go in the pool, go back to the parks. So it is very convenient, and all of it's on property, walking distance.
So yeah, we'd have to say transportation-wise, the winner is probably Disneyland, just because there's way less of it involved. So that would probably lead us into our next category, which is hotels. Disney World, obviously 4 parks, way bigger, way more square mileage. I think it's 40 square miles. I think Disney World is the size of Manhattan. It obviously has way more hotels. Disneyland has 3 Disney hotels, and then they also have something called Friendly Neighbor hotels. The 3 Disney hotels that are there are all deluxe hotels, meaning that they're the most expensive kind of Disney hotel, which probably means they're really nice. But there's just not a lot of options there if you don't have a huge budget or they get booked up or whatever the case may be in the summer.
Disney World hotels are great. I've only stayed at 2 of them. I think I stayed at the Animal Kingdom one, and I stayed at Beach Club, and I stayed at Yacht Club, which they're kind of the same, but there are so many hotels and things to do in the different hotels. So even if you're not staying there, like my family and I, when I was little, we went to the Grand Floridian and like walked around. We did dining at all these other different hotels. I've heard during Christmas time you can go and see all the different gingerbread houses and things like that. So there's so many different things to do and restaurants in all the hotels that make the hotels themselves actually more like an attraction and like things to see. Even if you're not staying there, or even if you're not staying on property, you can still go to the restaurants and all that stuff.
Sure, we've gone out like days that we don't have tickets to go to the park. We'll just go to one of the resorts and have dinner. You know, they have character dinners and stuff and themed restaurants and bars at the resort, so it's awesome.
A new one that I really want to go to, it's like this bar at the Grand Floridian, and it's called the Enchanted Rose. So
yeah, I want to go right now.
Let's go right now.
So hotels we would have to give to Disney World.
So the next category is weather, and that's an easy one.
Yeah, it's tough to beat California weather. Honestly, the Florida weather in the wintertime is actually probably better. It's nice and warm and like you're still comfortable at the park and stuff. In the winter in California, sometimes it could get down into the 40s at night. But usually,
and we've gone in like May, we went in November once, and that weather's like pretty mild. A little chilly at night and super warm and nice, different than Chicago, but
very
it's bad
humid
in the summer.
You can't do your hair, you know.
For us, it's like tragic. It's like, let's take pictures right away,
Right.
and then we could just get ruined as far as hair. Our friends went in like July, like dead of July, and they were like, absolutely never again.
And
so
it's
we're
crazy because it's the peak season is in the
Right.
summer, you know, that's when families go, kids are out of school and stuff, and so you get the worst weather. So if you go any other time of the year, it's kind of amazing, and it's kind of nice in the heat in Florida, because if you're not going to a park on a day, if you have like an off day at your hotel or resort, you can obviously go swimming, which is so much fun.
Pool is great with that kind of weather.
But Southern California weather is just kind of the best.
When we were in Disneyland, it was January, and it felt like we weren't even outside. It was the best thing. So yeah, hard to beat. That one definitely goes to Disneyland.
So the next category we think needs to be talked about is food. Now, the food at Disney World is tough to beat. You have Epcot, where you can literally eat in so many different countries.
And authentic Italian food, authentic sushi, bakery in France.
Served by people from those countries
Right.
who speak the language, who have accents. I mean, it's unlike anything anywhere. I mean, it's amazing. Plus, all the different resorts have signature restaurants. Disney Springs, which is like the downtown Disney of Disney World,
Yeah,
has so many restaurants. They have
A lot of chefs open up their own signature restaurants in like Disney Springs.
Mhm.
We've been to Chef Morimoto's, which was very
He was
good.
the original Iron Chef, so it was amazing.
And you cannot beat the Crystal Palace. I mean, you've got Pooh, Piglet, Tigger, Eeyore, all walking around, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We always go to the Crystal Palace. Get some photos with our friends. Also, Chef Mickey's and the Contemporary is an awesome one. They have a Lilo and Stitch character. I mean, there's so many.
Will say, when we went to Disneyland, I was trying to get a sit-down dinner day before, and there was like none. Because there's so many people, I wasn't able to get a reservation, and we've had so many times in Disney World where like day of, I'll make a reservation for like 4 people for a character dinner, because there's always cancellations and openings. So
Totally.
just availability, the amount of restaurants, the amount of authentic cuisines you can get.
Disneyland food, I will say that the counter service that they have there is really good. They do have a lot of options when you're going through the parks and stuff, but it's just way more limited. Obviously, there's 2 parks, there's 3 hotels, there's so much more in Disney World. We gotta give this one to Disney World. We would have to add another category. We would call it the original factor. The fact that Disneyland was the first ever Disney park, and now they're in so many countries all over the world, bringing joy to so many people. But Disneyland is the one that Walt Disney built. Walt Disney walked around that park. He had an apartment up above the fire station. I mean, that is such a special thing when you walk in, you see the fire station, you see Main Street. It's really cool.
In Disneyland, they also have Club 33, which is where Walt Disney would go and take personal guests. And just that in his apartment, and the fact that it's the OG, like it definitely felt. It feels smaller when you're walking after you've gone to Disney World so many times, but there's something original and magical and authentic about it.
One thing that is a lot more convenient in Disney World is the Fast Pass situation. You can actually get your Fast Pass like 30 days before your trip on an app on your phone for free at Disney World, and there's a lot more available as far as Fast Passes go at Disney World. At Disneyland, you actually have to pay a little bit of money to have Fast Passes on your phone. If you don't do that, you have to use the kiosks at the park to get your Fast Pass.
I will say that the ride times are, if you don't have them, are a little bit shorter, it seems, inland anyway. But it is really convenient to like check back and keep seeing if you can get good ones that you normally can't get a Fast Pass for. Like we've gotten Fast Passes for Mine Train in Disney World just by like refreshing. And so there's something fun about that, just being able to like check what's next and always be able to kind of plan your day through there.
Even the day before, I'm getting a Mine Train Fast Pass. It was like, oh my God, take it, you know, you got it. At 1:45, we're going on Mine Train. It's like that are just so convenient. If you look and something's available, it almost plans your day for you, you know, which is nice. One other kind of cool thing, I mean, it's probably cool to most people, maybe some people don't really care, but in Disneyland, there's a lot of celebrities that go there. It's so close to LA. There's actually an Instagram account called Disneyland Celebs. There's always people showing up.
Yeah, the day we went actually was 80s night, so we went for the 80s night, but we found out later that John Stamos was there the night we were there, and also a YouTuber named Corey DeSoto was there, and it's just like cool because I feel like there has to be celebrities going every day to Disneyland because we see it on the app, and I'm sure you get celebrities in World, just probably not as frequently, but then again, we didn't see any in Disneyland, so.
That's true. We just saw it on the Disneyland Celebs Instagram the next day. Stamos was there. Pixar Pier. We were at Pixar Pier.
We were.
We would have recognized him.
Okay, so let's talk about the rides for the next category.
There's so many more rides, obviously, for parks at Disney World, but there are a few at Disneyland that we wish, you know, obviously we're at World. They have the awesome Cars Land at Disneyland, and some of the rides are actually different, like Pirates of the Caribbean is a little bit different. It's a Small World was the original at Disneyland.
There is no Indiana Jones at Disney World, which is one of my favorite rides, and I hadn't been on it since I was little, and when we went in January, I was like, I love this ride. It's similar to Dinosaur, I guess you'd say, like the car and stuff, but just Indiana Jones ride is like awesome.
But the rides at Walt Disney World, I mean, there's just so many to choose from. You have Slinky Dog Dash, you have Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you have the dinosaur ride like Lizzie was talking about, Animal Safari where you can be right by real life animals. They're building the Tron roller coaster right now, which looks really cool.
And when we were at Disneyland, I don't know if it was just like the day.
Yeah, leave a comment if this has happened to you at Disneyland.
Because so many rides were like temporarily closed. We would walk up to the ride, and because we didn't have a Fast Pass, we didn't get a notification that it was down, so we'd walk up to the ride and it would be temporarily closed for maintenance. And it literally happened with probably like 6 rides.
Every ride we tried to go on.
Winnie the Pooh, Indiana Jones, the Incredicoaster,
Big Thunder Mountain, Haunted Mansion. It was crazy.
Yeah, so that doesn't really happen in World, and I think a lot of it has to do with you get a notification if you have Fast Pass that it's down, and you can book a new Fast Pass. We're on the bobsled ride.
We were literally about to take off, put our seatbelts on, and then we took
So yeah,
off.
it happened a bunch, and that doesn't normally happen to us in World. I guess it's just because it's so much bigger, and even if our ride's broken down.
Maybe it was just the day though. I mean, if you guys go to land, leave us a comment, tell us if that's like the huge for Disneyland, but it was kind of crazy that day. You gotta give the rides category to Disney World.
Let's talk about the castles, because it's
a big category for us.
It's an obvious difference. Some people in our friend group claim to not see that difference, but it's an obvious difference.
The Disneyland castle is the original Disney castle. There's something really special about it. Obviously, it's the first one. You look at it and you feel magic, and you feel this sense of the original park, and it takes you to a place where you, I don't know what I'm saying. The Disney World castle is unbelievable, guys. You walk into the park and it's like, oh my gosh, it's real? How is it real? You know, it's just so beautiful, and they just repainted a bunch of it and added some gold to it, so it's only getting better.
After Disneyland was already built is when they started using that forced perspective where the castle, like, it's not actually that big, but it looks ginormous. So I think they started using that after that castle was obviously built. Disneyland can go into it and it has like all those Sleeping Beauty setup where you can walk through the castle, and you can really just walk through the opening in the World Castle.
True.
Which is still cool because it has all the stained glass. So Castle would have to go to World.
Nothing against either park when we're picking a winner of category. They're both amazing. You know, there's just obvious differences and things that one does better than the other. Some of the things that each park has would be Main Street. They both have Main Street, World and Land, and Main Street is so awesome. You walk around and you feel like you're in a different time and a totally different place. You totally feel the magic.
They both have Starbucks, which is important.
Absolutely. They both have the new Star Wars Land, which has the Rise of the Resistance ride, has Millennium Falcon. You can build your own lightsaber.
And they look like identical. Other than the weather, you wouldn't know where you are.
They both have a lot of the same rides. Big Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain, Winnie the Pooh. You know, they have a bunch of the same stuff, all the Star Wars stuff like we said. So you can't go wrong going to a Disney park.
We've obviously seen the Happily Ever After show with the castle at Disney World multiple times, and it was Matt's first time seeing World of Color in California Adventure last month. The songs are obviously amazing in both, but different, and there's less projections in World of Color, but more water and lights and features, so both are awesome.
Yeah, the songs are kind of why I personally love Disney so much. The music is so amazing. They have the best people in the world writing their songs and incredible people who sing the songs, and there's so much heart in the music. So the shows are such a great part of the parks. Like the Happily Ever After show is this awesome arrangement of so many Disney songs put together, and the same for World of Color. They take a bunch of tracks, a lot of the hits, and they just turn it into this super cool show with the lights and fireworks and colors. It's amazing. It's probably my favorite part of the parks.
So overall, we would probably have to say that our favorite park is Disney World. We love them both. They're both so much fun. Just for the sake of a long trip, the big park that's super appealing to us.
You know, we love them both, guys, but obviously you have a favorite, right? Like when you're a parent and you have 3 kids, one of them's your favorite, right?
Or our children, Disney World and Disneyland.
But yeah, we're not trying to diss either park. I mean, it's just fun to compare and contrast. Both parks are super expensive and super worth the money, so make sure you go if you have the opportunity. We love them both, but like Lizzie said, if we had to pick one to go to for the rest of our lives, and only one, we would pick Disney World. I want to think about that.
Yeah.
Leave us a comment. Tell us which Disney park is your favorite. Maybe you've been to one of the ones in Asia or the one in Europe. But let us know. Yeah, super jealous. But let us know which one is your guys' favorite. Let us know if we missed a category that we should have talked about. And we'll talk to you guys soon.